Hi there, Sandra here from the Schwowin's Nest. Today I'm going to show you how to build a rustic lantern. This video is in partnership with my good friend Sonja at Domestic Diva. Sonja is going to show you how to make a lantern a little bit of a different way, so make sure you go check out her channel when you're done my video. I'll have her channel link in the description box below. What I'm using is a handheld 4-inch circular saw from Rockwell. I'll put a link where I got it down in the description box so you can check it out and maybe get one for yourself. They're really handy and I just love it because it's just so nice and compact. The first thing I need to do is make sure that all the pieces of wood are the same size. I found one that was a good size and then I'm going to use that one as a template to cut the rest of them. I'm also using my Workmate workbench. It has the ability to clamp, you can adjust it, you can put it together, take it apart, and it also folds down and stores really nice and compact. Now that all 4 pieces are cut to length, I'm starting at the bottom and I'm measuring up 3 inches and I'm going to mark that spot because I'm going to need to drill a pilot hole to connect all of the pieces together. Next, I'm taking a square and I'm marking on the round where I want the poles to be attached. So I'm not making this really rocket science. I'm just using that square and putting it on either end and then just marking it off. I don't need this to be perfect because take a look at those sticks. They sure aren't perfect. I picked all of these up at the cottage. These are all just things that were going to be burned and that weren't going to be used. And I thought, you know what? I could make something really neat with these pieces. As you can see here, I am pre-drilling holes into the birch round as well, and I've got it clamped into my Black & Decker Workmate workbench because that just helps me to have more control and I don't have to hang on to things at the same time. Okay, I'm not sure how well I'm going to be able to explain this part, but basically I'm taking little pieces of the bamboo stake and I'm gluing them into the drilled holes on the wood round. If you've ever put something together from IKEA, you'll recognize what I'm doing here. I'm taking sort of a plug and putting it into one drilled hole, and then the drilled hole from the other piece will fit onto this, and then that's how I'll be able to assemble the bottom part of this lantern. Next, I have to drill the hole where I marked it 3 inches up from the bottom into the sticks, which are going to be the sides of the lantern. I'm drilling in only about a good inch because that's about the length of what's left on the plug from the wood round. I'm going to add some extra glue inside the holes on the sticks and on top of the pegs and then fit them together. To be honest with you, I wasn't sure that this idea was going to work, but then I started putting it together and I was very surprised. It actually was turning out what I imagined in my head, and it really wasn't too difficult to do either. So here I'm just filling in another hole of glue and I'm going to attach this one into the plug and then see if I can get it to stand up straight. I can't believe it's actually standing up straight with just these 2 pieces of wood. I'm really impressed with myself. So I'm just measuring and drilling the other 2 sticks and then I'll put those together too. For the top of the lantern, I also need to have some type of bracing support so it doesn't wiggle around. So I've decided to use this longer piece of wood as a cross brace, and then the two smaller pieces that I've already cut are going to be crossed over it. These little pieces of wood are so hard and dry that my drill bit started to get really hot. You can actually see the smoke coming out of the wood. Here's what the lantern looks like right now. It's standing pretty nicely. It's very level, but I do need to put those braces in. So I'm going to also be screwing some holes into the top of each of these 4 pieces so I can add those cross pieces. It's always a good idea to drill pilot holes before you put screws in, especially when the wood is really dry and hard like these are. I've already secured the long piece and screwed it into the bottom pieces with 3-inch wood screws, and now I'm going to do the same thing with these smaller cross pieces. This is really going to help to stabilize the lantern and make sure that it doesn't wobble. I also like to pre-drill the screws into the pieces that I'm going to be attaching together, just because it makes it easier to find the holes if there's a tiny little bit of screw sticking out on the other end. With every project, there's always a little bit of trial and error, so I did have to remove the one stick a couple of times just to make sure that it was all going to fit properly and stay nice and square. All of these birch rounds or slices that I have are losing their birch. So I've got a bunch of these rings of birch bark, and I thought it would be cool to add a little bit of embellishment to the lantern and maybe just add a couple of rows of the bark just to give it a little bit more of a rustic look. I'm using these little clamps just to hold the circle together, and then I'm just going to use some hot glue and glue the bark to the wood sticks. Then I repeated the same step with another piece of bark and just placed it a little higher. Here's how my lantern turned out. Make sure you go check out Sonja at Domestic Diva so you can see what she did with her lantern. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to click the bell to get notified when I upload new content. Thanks for watching.